Today, we're going to change the battery in a BMW X3. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is N55 David. I'm David, and today we got a friend's BMW X3 X28i here. It's a 2015. It's an F25. We're going to change the battery. It's getting all kinds of codes, drivetrain errors. If you pull the code history, there's like 20 codes, and it's ridiculous. So I checked the battery life, and it's getting there. It's the original battery from 2015, so it's time to change it. I just did the battery on my X3, and I didn't do a video on it. It was dark, and then everything happened like late in the evening, so that didn't happen. But literally a week later, here I am with an opportunity to do a battery on somebody else's. So we're gonna do a quick video on it. It should be fairly simple. There's not much to it. You do have to code the new battery. It's got to be registered with the computer for it to be properly set up. You can do it without it, but if you don't get the exact same spec battery and everything else, that's an issue. Plus, it doesn't know how to charge and do a bunch of different stuff with all the computers and stuff in the system. So you really should code the battery, have it registered, take it somewhere if you can't do it yourself. But it's really easy to do if you have the proper equipment, and it's not that expensive to do. So anyways, let's get started. All right, so first thing we got to do, we got to get into the back. And then if you have anything back here, it's got to come out. So we're going to get this stuff out. All right, guys, so what an empty normal X3 looks like. Out of the way. So this has got to come up. And then these have to come out, and you can just flip this up, or you can take the whole thing out. And in this case, I prefer to take the whole thing out. So these just screw out and they pop up, and then you see here you can actually just bend this back to expose the whole battery section. I like having more room, so we're gonna take the whole thing out. This is just preference. This is what I prefer. So you got these pop pins. And I believe there's 4. You got the 2 on both sides here. And then you have 2 all the way back here. You can't really see it, but up by these brackets, these hinge there. Yeah, these brackets. There's 2, 1 and 2. So we're gonna get those. go. That's all 4. So once you have those out, this whole piece just comes up. So you can grab it down here, just slide it all the way out. All right, yeah, and this is the battery section. So you got this whole positive side terminal deal here with all these connections, and then your ground. Like, this is ridiculous. So the F25, F26, X3, X4s, for a certain amount of years, they're like this. They change this later. So the newer ones, I do not believe are the same. So lucky you guys. Okay guys, first things first, we're gonna get the negative terminal off, then we're gonna work on this power block. So 10 millimeter, you're gonna need a 10 millimeter, 13 millimeter, you know, screwdriver and something else. I got a rag here. I'll show you what I'm doing with that in a second. Little advice, do not loosen this one up too much. Trust me, you do not want to deal with that. That's the weird thing was on my X3, getting this off was very difficult because the terminal was actually mushroomed on the top. I had to loosen it up quite a bit, which I find out later is pretty bad. It's a bad deal. So we don't want to loosen this too much. So one of the things that we need to do, I should have did this first. We need to disconnect this here from the bracket. Just pop it up, and then I'm gonna take microfiber and we're gonna wrap the negative terminal in it and set that off to the side. We need to get this off next. So I believe it was just push down and pull out, and yes, that was it. So there we go. We're gonna do this one. Slide those out of the way. This guy here, number 3. And then over here to get this off, you have a 13 millimeter here, which you don't need to take completely off. Actually, you do. You got to take the nut off on both. So you got to take this one off and this one. So the 10 millimeter off the actual cable, I'm going to loosen that one first. And then you got to do the 13 millimeter here, because there is a connection going from the terminal up to this power block, and it connects underneath, so you have to take this off. Set that one aside. So what we have here is you have these 2 clips. So you press down, and it should see, it's just not coming out far enough. So you want to, these tabs here, you want to pull those out and then pull up. Of course, this one does not want to come loose. There we go. All right. over here. Should be able to get just enough room to get all this out of the way. Oh, this forgot that the cable here is attached to the bracket here again too, so you just want to pop that out. And you want to be careful because you don't want to damage the cable, so don't do anything crazy. There we go. So this should keep enough slack here to get everything out of the way. Now we just have 3 points now that's holding down the battery. So you have your bracket here. It's held on by a 13 millimeter there, 13 millimeter down there, and then there is a like a lockdown here that kind of secures the battery from moving around. That's a 13 as well. Okay, so we're gonna do top bracket here first. And then we're going to go down here and get the second one. So it's just a little hold down. There's really nothing to it. It's real simple. Goes down there. Depending on which battery is in your X3, X4, where this is located at, it'll be moved in or out. So this is the larger battery. There is a setup where they have this battery and a second battery, but I don't know what that one's actually for. So we're gonna set this aside. Problem is here with this last one, I don't have, normally I would loosen it and then I would reach down with a tool and grab it and pull it up and then put it back down the same way. However, it's broken, so we're gonna have to kind of do this the real crappy way. So unfortunately, we're just gonna bend this up and then bend it back. It's fine, you should be okay. I've did it before. And then one thing you want to do here is on the side, you have the vent tube. You got to make sure you pull that out and put it back in on the new one. So all right, what we're gonna do, so we got to pull this up. Obviously it's going to give you some resistance because it's not meant to be bent, but we're doing that anyway. Bend it back. Okay, so these batteries are pretty heavy, so you got to be careful pulling these out. Right on both sides, we're going to lift, make sure we're not caught on anything there. Fun. Okay, I got the battery out of the back seat. These things, like I said, these things are not light. They are fairly heavy and they're kind of awkward. So I had to climb around the car because I didn't realize that the back doors were still locked and no power. So I had to climb around in the car to unlock it and then get the battery out because I'm an idiot. Okay, so old battery down there, new battery here. Now the tricky part is to get this in here. So obviously we got to be careful not damage anything or catch anything doing this, so try to get everything out of the way if possible. So we're going to lift up. I'm going to go around, get it under here, and then slide it down. So, and just keep in mind, negative terminal here, positive. So if you get it in and have it flipped around, obviously it's not going to work. So pay attention. Oh, and this one has the cap in the breather port, so you're gonna have to get that out. I'm just gonna use a pick tool. Hopefully I can get it to come right out. Of course not. There we go. All right, one thing you want to do here is make sure these handles are down. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, bend this back. So this is always kind of tough because you kind of have to push down on it and put some weight and force into it, especially on the spots that got bent, because it's kind of a pain. Luckily I was able to get this lined up perfectly here, because when I did this the first time I did not get it to line up perfectly, and I had a heck of a time getting it to fall into place. So we're gonna go ahead, put this in first. All right, I'm not gonna crank that down all the way yet in case I need to do anything, although there's plenty of room for movement. It shouldn't be a big deal, but we're gonna get the bracket, this, yeah. We're gonna get this in here real quick, get this lined up. Seems secure. Go ahead and snug that one down. And then now that that's in, it's pretty much where it's going to be. It's slightly crooked, but it's not going to matter. And then we'll finish snugging this down. Okay, that one's down. And then at this point we are just reassembling everything. So pop this cover off, we don't need that. Okay, put the positive cable back on. Now we're going to take the power block, and that's just going to slide down, and then you push down there, and it's just going to basically just clips under the underside of the cap of the battery. So now that that's in place, we'll put the nut back on here. And again, small one here is a 10. There's snug. Close that up. Is that a 10? No, it's 13. So All right, we're snug there. So pop that back on. While we're over here, let's go ahead and grab the vent tube, find the hole, which if you can see it down here or not, it's right there. My hand was probably in the way. And then you can just line it up. You just line it up, press it in, and then you are good to go. So now we're going to start putting, don't forget, like this cable here, make sure this pin goes back in to secure the cable. You have this guy here. This is the thing, getting these pushed down to get these terminals back in. It's a pretty big deal. So get it, slide that one in. Now we got these guys here. Which one was this one in? You know, I don't think it matters really, but they only go in one way, into one spot. So if you try and it doesn't fit, it's not gonna go. So they make this pretty simple. I believe this goes here. But like this won't go into here, this won't go into here, this won't go in here. It's real nice. Same with this one. This one will not fit into that spot. So they did that right. And then we can't forget this guy here. That in there. And then this guy's gonna go down there. So let's bring the negative terminal up. I still got it wrapped. I don't want it to touch anything it doesn't need to be touching, because essentially that is bad. Get you back down there. So at this point we are basically done. We just got to connect the negative power. So light should come on here unless I've completely destroyed this car. Yeah, we are good to go. Let's tighten this down. Let's go real easy on this guy. All right, we are snug. So the deal with this one is if there's a block underneath that sits between, so the post comes up, or there's no post, so the battery terminal comes up. You got the, like, kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, the bracket for the cable, the terminal there. It splits, so it's like this, and then when you tighten it, it squeezes it tight around it. And how it does that is there's a bracket, there's like a U bracket that goes underneath, that when you tighten, it presses up and pushes it together, and then when you loosen it, it moves it down and allows it to open up. If you let that go down too far, it doesn't want to tighten, it doesn't want to grab anything, and I almost broke my terminal because it was actually pushing it apart from the torque of trying to turn the ratchet. So got to be careful with that. So essentially for this we are done. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to slide the cover back over top just so there's no issues. And you got to make sure these are lined up properly. And how this works is when you turn them, when you twist them back around, it will just snap into place. These are really cool. Now we should have some movement for these guys. They can be a little difficult to get back in though. Yeah, it's like they never really want to go right in. That one went in fairly easy. Find one that's not as split apart. Okay. Man, I'm eating my words here. These are going right in. Okay. One's got to give me trouble, right? Nope, not even slightly. All right, I'm running into stuff with the camera. Get you back on. Well, I think that's it for this. All right, so let me clear out my stuff, get their cover back in, and we're gonna jump in the driver's seat here and we're gonna register the new battery. So be right back. Okay guys, everything's back together. We got to code it. I'm going to use my MHD adapter. I do have the boot mode adapter. I just got it the other day. It's supposed to be super nice, super quick. I haven't used it yet, so I'm not going to do it for this video. And I have multiple Ethernet cables and a bunch of other stuff, but we're going to use this one to connect. It is just underneath here. Can find the right spot. Let's see that all the way up. Okay, so I gotta get into the phone. I'm gonna use the Bimmer code, Bimmerlink. So we're going to connect MHD black. It's probably not going to work because I didn't connect to the adapter first. Fix the camera. Yeah, okay, so connect to it first. MHD. Now we can connect to it. So you can use like the different MHD connectors, X-Link, OBD links, Thor, VPeak, which I've used multiple times for coding and stuff like that. Those are great. V-Linker, XHP. There's a bunch of different things you can use to connect. So, oh, and the boot mode one up there. Let's see. Am I not connected? I am connected. Why is this not working? There we go. Apparently I needed to have it on first, so that's on me. So anyways, to register the battery, you should do it with the ignition on or with it running. So we're going to go ahead and start it. We're going to go, you can see the stuff here. We're going to go to 12-volt battery. You see it shows all the new stuff with the state of charge and everything like that, but we are going to register it. Oh, it's actually telling me to go engine off, so we're going to go off now. Hit register. And there we go. We are all set. Okay, so after we register the battery, in this particular case, because of all the codes that this particular X3 had, I'm going to go into my boot mode. Go to log in. Doesn't really matter which account I use, but it'll connect at some point. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I have to connect to the MHD adapter. Go back into boot mode. So it will connect even though I'm using the wrong account at some point here. Let me see here. Usually it pops up and tells you. Yeah. I should probably turn it on. That's probably the key. Yeah, there we go. So it's telling me connected vehicle does not match and whatever. So I'm going to not hit OK because I don't want to switch accounts. We're going to hit cancel. And it tells you that, you know, this is not the registered vehicle for the account. This does not matter. So we're going to go into diagnostics, read. It's going to pull up all the codes. And as you see, this wasn't nearly as bad as it was. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 codes currently. I'm going to delete them all. Now that those codes are cleared, let me get back here. Gonna completely shut her off. Turn it back on. We're gonna start it. She starts, there's no check engine light, nothing like that. Everything should run as expected. This particular X3 did not like have nav and all that sort of stuff, so you have to actually go into the settings and you have to reset the date and time. It's 9:51. I should be funny and change it completely, but it's 9:51. We're gonna say it's 9:55, so it's 4 minutes fast. This way they are always on time no matter what. All right, so I'm going to read the codes again real quick, see if any of these codes pop back up. And right now the active codes are gone. The only codes that are left are inactive codes, which are to be expected. It's to be expected for sure, because it has a history of it. So after a certain amount of time, these codes will go away. It's not setting a check engine light. I'm not going to clear them. I'm going to leave everything that's there though. So now we're going to go drive it. But essentially we are good unless there's another problem that pops up. We're good, but I'm going to drive it for a little bit, make sure everything gets warmed up, make sure everything is running right. She left me with no gas, so I might go put some gas in, and she's pretty dirty, so we might just go wash her for her and take care of it because I'm such a nice guy. All right guys, this is going to be the end of the video unless something else pops up that I need to show you during the drive. But if you like the video, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comment section. If you have any in-depth comments or questions that need a lot more than just a simple answer, please hit me up on Instagram. It's N55 David. It's so much easier because it's easier to type, it's easier to respond. I can send video, I can send audio, and it's a lot less of a hassle. But if you like the videos, please like them. It really helps the channel. It really does, guys. When people say that, they're not just saying that, it does. So please subscribe, and if you like more how-to videos and racing videos, this is the channel for you. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.